Oh. Hi, Mama Bear. Hi, Cynthia. Hey, Susan. Hey, Crystal. Hi, Venus. Congratulations on winning yesterday, Venus. This is really cool, you guys. So I have you guys, I can read the messages on my phone, but I have this playing on my TV. So I can actually look up to the TV and see it the way you guys are saying it. Just kind of cool. Hi, Chow. Hey, Patty. Hi, Steph. Hi, Melissa. Hello, Mary. Hi, Cindy. All right, we're going to give a couple folks a few minutes to log on here. Make sure you change it to live chat. I just realized mine is on top chat. I need to change it to live chat, and click the thumbs up, please. Okay, so live chat will make sure you get to see everyone's comments. That's why I'm here, Steph. I'm going to help you out. Hi, Lori. Hi, Emily. You know what? Let's cut some paper while we're waiting. Mama Bear did toner foiling. All right, so I have my glimmer machine plugged in and warmed up. So let's talk about that first before I get into anything, because a lot of people have questions about this. So when you get the machine, you're going to plug it in, obviously. You're then going to turn the machine from off to on, okay? It will blink, and then the red power button will come on. This platform, and I'm going to call, let me tell you what I'm going to call everything here. The base unit. Okay, this is the heating unit, this base unit, okay? This is the heating platform. This is what gets hot, okay? And what I'm gonna try to do is make this a really quick, easy explanation video. I don't wanna get into a lot of complicated things, because a lot of you guys got a glimmer machine for Christmas and you want to get into hot foiling and you're afraid to touch the machine. So I want to give you guys some basics. And yes, I'll do another video on the foil press. So this is your base. So you're going to plug this in, you're going to turn the power on. This is going to light up red. This is the key component to your platform. This has to make contact with your platform, okay? So here is your platform. Now the first secret I'm going to give you is everybody's machine is a little different, okay? Some of these machines are really tight when you plug it in. Mine is one of those. Some of them are a little looser, but as long as you're making full contact from here to here, then this will start to heat up. Okay, the other thing is I'm going to talk to you guys about taping these plates. You can see the tape there on my plates. That's going to depend on your die cutting machine, and we'll get back into that in a second. I'm going to plug this all the way in. Once that's plugged, and you really have to push that up in there. Once that's making contact up in there, this will, after about 5 minutes or so, it takes 5 to 10 minutes to warm up. Thank you, Stacy. After 5 to 10 minutes, this platform ready will turn green. And I can already feel this is starting to heat up pretty nicely, okay? If you don't see after 15 minutes or so that your machine is warming up, that these lights aren't coming on, and you are perfectly sure that this heating platform is plugged all the way into the heating element here, then you're going to want to take it back to wherever you bought it. If you bought it used, I think you're going to be out of luck. But if you got it from Hobby Lobby or directly from Spellbinders, you're going to need to contact the retailer. Please don't contact Spellbinders if you don't contact your retailer first, because Spellbinders is just going to say you have to contact your retailer first, or you have to mail it to Spellbinders. They will attempt to fix the machine, repair the machine, and then send it back to you under warranty, which could take a lot longer than just returning it. Another reason why you need to get your machine out and use it now. Putting it in the closet for a year is not going to help you, okay? So you can see my platform ready turned green. And now what that means is it's ready for me to put a hot foil die on here and paper and then hit this. I'm going to push this aside for just a second because we need to talk about foil and paper before we begin. Okay, so what is hot foiling? Hot foiling is a system where you use these special hot foil dies. They're not like cutting dies. They're flat-backed dies. And what these dies will do... Ooh, I don't think I can show you those yet. I almost just showed you guys a whole new release that I'm not allowed to show you yet. And I'll show you the different ways to store them as well. There's a lot of companies that make hot foil dies now, okay? So we have Pink Fresh Studios. We have Crafter's Companion. They have the Gemini foil press. We have Simon Says Stamp. I think Altenew just came out with some. We have Gemini. We have Spellbinders. So there's a lot of companies that make hot foil dies. Hot foil dies do not cut, okay? So they're flat-backed, just like these are. And what these will do is they will not cut your paper. They will actually impress the foil into your paper. So you get Ellen Hudson. So a lot of companies are on the market now with hot foiling. So pretty much anything you want in terms of hot foiling, you can find. There's two ways that I store mine. You want to store them away from your cutting dies because, again, they're not meant to cut. They're meant to hot foil. Yep, I'm going to talk about that real quick. So there's two ways that I foil mine, or store mine. So the first way is, this is a Crafter's Companion. I got this off of Amazon, and we'll link my Amazon shop for you guys. This is a Crafter's Companion magnetic storage binder. And so this binder, as you can see here, has these magnetic sheets, and I store all of my hot foils on here. And you can see I have little notes on here on shimming things and how to heat them. Thank you, Chow. So Chow is linked. So I just kind of put all of my stuff in these binders. And I have two binders. I have this one for kind of miscellaneous. I have one, this was a My Favorite Things one. I have one for Spellbinders because I'm on the Spellbinders design team. And then I have one for Christmas. Okay, so I have a couple different binders. The other way, and I will tell you, this is super heavy, okay? Because these dies are heavy. They are very heavy. They impress into your paper with the foil, but they are really, really heavy, okay? So another way, if you don't want and I think they sell these in two different sizes. This is the large. There is also a smaller one. The other way is this art bin. Now I'm going to be careful here to try not to show you what's in here because I do think I have some new release items in here you're not allowed to see yet. I think we'll be okay. All right, so these art bins also on my Amazon shop come with these magnetic sheets. They're magnetic on one side, not the other side, so that they don't stick to each other. And you can see what I've done here is I've just taken some of those hot foil plates, and these are all Spellbinders. You didn't see that. Actually, you'll see them in February. So these are all the Spellbinders ones. So I have them in here, and I can flip through and see which ones I want. And these are all my Spellbinders ones. Okay. And what's neat about Spellbinders is Spellbinders usually sells the die with the hot foiling. So what I mean by that is, so any of these sentiments here, you can see these sentiments have a die attached. So that way when you foil it, you can also cut it. Now it's not all the time, but most of the time you can get a hot foil and a die together. So butterflies, hot foil, and die. The mask, hot foil, and the die. So this way, when you do hot foil your project, you have some dies. So those are the two ways that I store mine, in these little art bin containers or in the bins, or the folder. But you want to keep them separate from your cutting dies. That's the big thing. Okay. You will find that as this hobby grows, your collection will grow. I have 2 of the art bin and I think 3 of the binders now. So personal preference, as long as you know what that is. Okay, so that's how I store my hot foil dies. And again, I am going to continue to call them hot foil dies or hot foil stamps, but please keep in your mind that they do not cut. Okay, You can use regular dies. That's going to be for an advanced class, not for this class. I want to try to keep this pretty short and easy so you guys can get started, okay? So that's number one. Number two is the type of foil that you can use. So you only can use hot foil. Now, don't be confused. There's a lot of companies out there that say hot foil, toner foil, heat activated foil, okay? These are the companies that I'm going to recommend when it comes to shopping for hot foil. Now, I'm specifically talking about the Glimmer machine. I will talk, or the Go Press. You can use either one of the information I'm giving you today is good for the Glimmer or the Go Press and foil. It's a little different for the Gemini foil press. So the foil companies that I recommend that you purchase from are Spellbinders Glimmer, and it will tell you here hot foil system. Okay. Any of those. Couture Creations, Go Press and Foil. I know there's a price tag on there, but it's Couture Creations, Go Press and Foil, Heat Activated Foil. Okay. Now, Gemini is a little confusing because Gemini has their own foiling system called the Gemini Foil Press. They have paper craft foil and they have multi-surface foil. You can see it's packaged exactly the same. There's no color difference or anything, okay? Except up here, one is purple and one is pink. If you're going to use the Spellbinders system, you want the multi-surface foil. Do not use the paper craft foil in the Spellbinders or the Go Press and Foil. The Spellbinders and the Go Press and Foil heat up way too fast and there's no controlling the temperature, so you will always overfoil. So if you are using Gemini paper craft foil in your Spellbinders Glimmer and you are having overfoiling every time, that's why. I'll be happy to take those foils off of your hands for you. They really need to go with the foil press machine, okay? So in the Glimmer, you want to use multi-surface foil. I hope you guys are taking notes on this. Okay, and then the company I recommend is Blue Bonnet Hot Foil. So Blue Bonnet is a Facebook group. It's Blue Bonnet Foil on Facebook. She sells these large rolls of foil, so you get almost twice as much on your roll of foil, and it's only $5 a roll. And she has a ton of options. She ships all over. But you want to make sure, hi Jennifer, that you are getting her hot stamping foil, okay? Not her toner foil or her laminator foil, her hot stamping foil for the Glimmer machine or the Go Press and Foil machine, okay? So you can see, clearly I am a big fan of hers. Okay, so she has all different kinds of colors. She has different kinds of, she used to call it foil quill foil. So if you have foil quill foil, that will work as well. Foil quill or hot stamping foil. She's just a really nice person. She does really well with shipping, customer service, all of that good stuff. Okay, so you want to make sure that you have the right foil, that you have the right foil dies, and you want to make sure that you have the right paper. Now, here's the thing with hot foil. You can foil on anything. This is what's great about hot foiling. You can foil on cork. You can foil on burlap. You can foil on foil. You can foil on colored cardstock. You can foil on anything that the foil will stick to because this foil has a natural adhesive in it. So when it heats up, the adhesive just sticks. So let me cut some foil out so I can show you guys here what's going on. All right, so the paper I recommend for hot foiling is any super smooth paper. Any super smooth paper will work. The company I do recommend, and this is I'm going to take ownership and say, yeah, I think I'm part of the problem here, is if you're not aware, we do have a Facebook group called Foiling Snobs Club. Foiling Snobs Club is a group that my friend Tracy and I started to help people support our channel, but more importantly, teach everybody about foiling. And I do a lot of testing on different papers and different products and foils and so on. And the paper that I found was the smoothest is Hammer Mill Premium Color Copy, the one with the gecko. And I'm going to recommend 80 or 100 pound. It's really hard to find right now because I was on Yanis Makula's video and she was using Yupo paper, and I think Yupo paper is super expensive, although it works great. It's very expensive. So I recommended to Yanis Makula to try this hammer mill paper. Yanis Makula's team told Jennifer McGuire's people. Jennifer McGuire now recommends everybody use this hammer mill paper. So because of our foiling community and supply shortages, I'm sure, hammer mill paper is hard to find right now. But it needs to be this type of paper, hammer mill premium color copy with the gecko. I recommend 80 or 100 pound if you can find it. Okay, but again, any smooth paper will work best. You can hot foil on anything. It's just your timing might need to be a little different. So I'm just going to take a couple sheets of this, you guys, and just cut it down just for today's sampling. The biggest question I get asked is, which foiling machine should I buy? That's going to depend on your die cutting system. So you cannot use the Spellbinders foiling system in your Gemini machine. You can use it in your Big Shot, your Big Kick, your Vagabond, your Spellbinders, all of those manual die cutting machines you can do with the Spellbinders Glimmer or the Couture Creations Go Press and Foil. Okay. If you have a Gemini machine, I'm going to suggest you go with the Gemini foil press. I always like to cut my sheets to 5.5 by 4.25 because if I foil crooked, which happens often, it will make it easier for me to cut my paper down and try to resize it straight, or use my cutting dies to cut out whatever I did. Okay. And if you are interested in purchasing any of these products, I do appreciate you guys supporting my links. It goes back into the channel so that I can buy more products to test out for you guys. The Spellbinders Glimmer you can get off of Amazon. If you have a Hobby Lobby near you, you can stop in Hobby Lobby and get it. But I do have a Spellbinders link, affiliate link. The hammer mill paper is usually on Amazon. I cut that the wrong size, but that's okay. Okay, so here's another point I want to make is that just like when you are die cutting, your die cutting machines are different. It's the same thing with your hot foiling. So I have a Sizzix really old Big Kick here. I also have the brand new Spellbinders Platinum machine here. So as long as you have some kind of a machine that the heating platform will fit in and can roll through, you'll be able to do your hot foiling. Each machine is different, and I want you to be aware of that because a lot of people get frustrated and say, I get underfoiling, I get overfoiling. It depends on the pressure of your machine. If you don't know what pressure your machine is, you're just going to have to practice. Every die is going to be different. Every machine is going to be different. So the hints that I'm going to give you today are based on how my machine works and the tightness of my machines. Now, I will tell you with my Big Kick, I didn't get the best foiling. I think part of that is because I didn't tape my plates down, and now that I tape my plates down, I get better foiling. This is a brand new machine for me. This is the brand new Spellbinders Platinum Aqua Teal. It's a limited edition. In this machine, it's a little looser than my other machine, so I have to use a shim, an extra paper shim. You'll see me do that today with my foiling. So paper shims are something that unfortunately are part of the Spellbinders Glimmer and the Go Press and Foil machine that you're just going to have to practice with. It's part of your recipe in getting success. Hi, Cheryl. Okay. So what are the basics? So we already talked about when you get your machine, you're going to plug it in, you're going to turn it on. Now you'll see because I didn't use my machine, it went into kind of like this sleep mode. It's a little bit cooler. It's not as hot. So I'm just going to wake it back up by unplugging my platform, plugging it back in and saying, hey, I'm ready to do some foiling now. Okay. You're also going to get with the machine 2 plates. Now I know it's hard for you guys to see here, but there is a thin greenish plate here. and there is a clear, almost like a cutting plate on the top, okay? I have taped my plates together along the side here with Cricut heat safe tape. So Cricut heat safe tape is, it feels like a Scotch tape, but it's not going to melt. And by taping my plates to my platform, let me undo this here. See, I've taped them here and taped them here. I tape them to each other first, so that's why there's tape on all edges there. And then I tape them to my platform. I have a hinge. By having this hinge, now I have less wiggle and movement with my machine. When I first got the Glimmer, you guys, I will admit I did not like it. I didn't like the wiggling. The foil press doesn't do that. But I knew a lot of you guys had this machine and wanted to know how to use it, so I had to figure out a solution. So I've taped my plates. You cannot tape them on the top because of that plug there, but you can tape them on the right or the left with that heat safe tape. The other thing you want to be aware of is learn to use your grid lines. You can see the grid lines in there. That's going to help keep things straight for you. Okay? So you may or may not need both plates depending on how tight your machine is. Hi, Happy Scrappy. If your machine is super tight, you might have to remove one of these shims. You might not need this thin shim that's here, or you might not need the thicker one. It depends on how tight your die cutting machine is, okay? All right, so I'm going to plug that back in. What we're going to do then is what I like to do is a warm-up. So a warm-up is I have an idea of what I want to hot foil. I don't know, I'm just going to pick some stuff out here. We'll do these Pink Fresh butterflies. And I will say, I have, I'm going to say a 70-80% success rate, okay? My paper may not be big enough for this. Sometimes when you foil, it goes through great the first time. Sometimes you got to, you know, change your foil, change your shim, change your paper before you get success with it. So don't be discouraged. It takes a little bit of time. And when you put everything on the desk and you can't find it, that makes it more difficult. Where did I just put all that paper I cut? For real, Nance. Oh, here it is. Underneath everything. So I think these may not be big enough for my butterflies. Ooh, barely. Okay, so we have our butterflies lined up. Now in this case, I don't really need it to be straight. I'm not doing a sentiment. I'm going to end up cutting these butterflies out. You want the pretty side facing up, the flat side facing the heating element. You can see my platform is green and it's saying, hey, I'm ready. So I'm just going to cut some foil. I do like to use a dedicated pair of scissors for my foil. One of the tips and tricks you'll see online is to cut your foil down to really close to the size of your project. Again, if you get a lot of overfoiling, that may be an issue. You can cut the corners of your foil down a little bit just to help prevent that. You can see the foil's trying to roll up as it's getting warm. And you always want to do, and you can make a little note on the machine here, pretty side down, okay? Remember, this foil has glue in it, has an adhesive in it. So we want to make sure that that glue sticks to our paper. So pretty side down. If you do it this way, you're going to get a really pretty die, but you're not going to get any foil transferred, okay? So we want to do pretty side down. Glue side touching our paper, and I am going to kind of angle this paper even though I can't really see. I feel around where I need to be. I need to move down a little here. Okay, close enough. Now, with my system, I always need a shim. So let me just add an extra. I usually do a heavier shim, but I don't have one in front of me. Okay, then we're going to close this, and then we're going to hit the timer button. The timer button is going to blink for 60 seconds. What that timer button is doing is it's cooking. It's cooking our die. It's cooking our foil into the paper, okay? This is where taping your plates comes in handy, because once you unhook this is when we get a lot of shifting of the paper, of the die, and we get kind of wonky looking results. So I'm going to move this guy to the side while he's blinking. And I'm going to bring in my platinum machine. So the components are heat and pressure. Heat and pressure. So it's cooking. Once it's done, we're going to unhook it very carefully, and we're just going to roll it through here. I am not going to add any extra shims or touch it in any way once I've started that heating process. As soon as you open it and add a shim, as soon as you touch it, you start to then jeopardize how nice your foil looks. So let me just show you guys this real quick. Okay, so this is done. I told you guys before, my platform is very tight into my heating element. So I'm going to be very careful. I push my thumb underneath here and just kind of pull, although I have a very sore thumb right now in case you didn't notice I broke a nail. Okay, so I want to just keep my finger on here and try to keep this sandwich nice and tight. I don't want to really be shimming and moving that around too much. Once I have it unhooked, then I'm going to bring it into my die cutting machine, whatever die cutting machine you have, and I'm very slowly just going to roll that through. If your machine moves a lot, this machine has a little bit of play and shimmying in it, so it's not as smooth as my old machine. You just want to take your time, and I'm applying a little bit of pressure with my left hand here. As you can see, I'm pushing down, and I'm just kind of keeping everything in place. If your machine is too tight, you are going to get over foiling. That means you have too many shims and you need to remove some of that. If your machine is too loose, you're going to get under foiling and you need to add shims. All right, so let me move this out of the way. Excuse me. I do recommend letting your image cool for a second before you reveal it so that you have full coverage. And Glimmer comes with these two extra things here. This is your silicone heat safe pad. And what you can do is once you are done foiling, this has a little magnet. The new ones have this, the old ones have the tweezers. You press that. Well, it's not strong enough for this because it's heavy. But you would grab that, and then to release it, you press this button and let that cool down. This does get quite warm. I don't know that it's hot enough to actually like severely burn you, but it does get warm. I don't recommend like letting little kids or pets near when you're doing this. And you're just going to set that aside and let it cool down. And let me put in another one. So this is a Crafter's Companion one. And you can see it's telling me, hey, I'm ready to go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. So I'm going to cut another piece of foil here. Now, someone's always asking, how do I line it up and see what to do? Well, there's two ways. You can do what's called the Hinge Method, where you put tape down on your die, and then you tape your foil and your die together, which is great. Works great. I like to use my grid lines, so I can see my grid lines are here and here. So I want to kind of make sure that I'm pretty straight across my grid lines so that when I put my paper on, I know if I'm on this grid line, it's actually numbered. It says number 2. I can see there's numbers at the top in there that I can, for the most part, get it pretty straight on the grid lines. And again, if you want to cut your corners down, you can certainly do that. All right, I'm going to move that aside. Let's reveal this one. And again, my paper wasn't exactly big enough, but you can see that that's pretty good. I have a little bit of overfoiling here. When you have overfoiling, that means you have extra foil where you don't want it. You just use a mono sand eraser or a little bit of low tack tape, and you can take most of that off. Now, if you have an area that it's not erasing well enough and it's just really stuck on there, another secret I use is a white jelly roll pen. So right where outside those butterflies, you can see I tried to erase them. I couldn't get them off. I can use a white jelly roll pen and just cover that up, and it camouflages it. It's just like makeup concealer. Okay, we got a little zit there. We got to cover it up. You just look at that white jelly roll pen. It'll dry and you won't be able to see that on there. But these I have dies for, so I would cut out the coordinating dies. But look how beautiful that foil sparkles. Okay, so we are done with that one. Let's see what this one looks like. Guess what I forgot to do? I forgot to shim that. We'll see if it works or not. You know what? It's not going to work because I know this machine is way too loose. So let me shim it real quick. Even though that's a different manufacturer, I could just tell by the way I was rolling it through my machine. Now, did you see that? I bumped the paper. Ugh. Now we have to look at it. Because I bumped my paper, there's a chance of it, oh, that might have worked. There's a chance of it not, of it moving. So I don't want to roll it through again once I know I bumped it. But it looks like we got full coverage. We'll see here in a second. The Gemini plates are a little thicker. See that underfoiling? That's because they didn't shim it. See that? So that's why it's good to know your machine and to know what you need to do with shimming it. So we're going to do this again. I'm going to shim it this time. I have to remember to shim with this one. My old machine was a little tighter and I didn't have to shim. So I'm going to do the same foil. And that's what's known as underfoiling. And you really can't fix that. There isn't a really good way of fixing that. You can, like I said, run it through twice, but since I had touched it, let me cut my foil big enough. Since I had touched it, I knew that running it through twice would not have helped it. I know Stacy's OCD is going nuts because I'm cutting my foil all wonky with the scissors. But hey, you want to keep your foil nice and neat and smooth. You don't want to throw it aside in a basket and let it get all dusty. Again, I'm going to line this up. Foil pretty side down. Put my cardstock on there. Shim it. This is my shim. And plug it back in. And then hit the timer button when it's ready. All right, let me go see comments. I missed the comments. So what is the difference between hot foiling and toner foiling is toner foiling is a different system. With toner foiling, you stick it to a toner image. A toner image is printed from a laser printer, so you would run it through a laminator or a Mink. There is no adhesive in that foil, and so if you try to use that foil in this system, it will not work. So it's two completely different systems. Even though they're both foiling, they're cousins, okay? So they're not exactly the same other than they're both foiling. It's a completely different system. You use a Mink or a laminator. You do use different foils. You have to have a printed design from a laser printed image. So it's completely different. Yes, these foils that I've just showed are from Bluebonnet. It's because you get such a good value. Like I said, it's $5 a roll, but you got to go to her Facebook page and order it. We don't have an affiliation or anything with her. I just love her. I'm a good customer of hers, so I just like to help her out. All right, ask the questions that you have. Like I said, I don't want this video to go too long. I just want it to be basics so that you guys will, you know, have fun with your machines. And I will do another video on the Gemini foil press another day. For those of you that are in the UK, there is a Facebook group called Hot Foiling with the Spellbinders Glimmer and the Gemini foil press machine. The name of the lady that runs that is Di, and she sells hot foils in the UK. So if you are in the UK, I recommend joining that Facebook group in the UK, and you can get the foils from her in the UK. Ali Dallas asked a great question. Can you tell the difference by looking at the foils, toner versus heat foil? So I would say not really. The only way you could tell the difference is actually to apply the heat to a plain piece of paper like this. And if it sticks, then you know it's hot foil, because toner foil won't stick with just heat. Toner foil actually needs a surface to stick to, so it needs a printed image to stick to. Okay. Cricut has foil that is done with pressure. Cricut foil is actually hot foil. We found that out by accident. So if you have the Cricut system, you should be able to use hot foil with it. Yes, Cheryl, she had free shipping for a few days. Yep. Her shipping's not too bad, though. Like I said, you get larger rolls with her. And she has the best variety of foils I've found. You know, obviously I have every color of Spellbinders foil, but the Bluebonnet foil is just really pretty. So if you didn't label your foils, like a lot of us didn't in the beginning, most of the hot foil rolls are going to be in these smaller rolls. Most of them, okay? That's one thing you can tell. The other thing is, like I said, you can just run them through your laminator or your Mink machine with just a piece of foil and paper, and if it sticks, it's hot foil, and if it doesn't stick, it's toner foil. And you want to separate them into two different storage units. Always keep your foil in the original containers if you can, because again, different foils have different heat settings, different companies, and then you'll recognize them, but it also keeps your foil safe. One thing I forgot to mention in this video is there's a very nasty rumor going around in the hot foiling community, and I'm a little embarrassed actually, because it is even on the Spellbinders Glimmer website to do where's my little thing at? I can't find it now. But to use the anti-static tool on your foiling, they said it gives you don't get over foiling. Please do not add anything to your foiling, okay? My team has named me the Empress of Foiling, and I take that with pride because I have tried every possible foil, machine, shortcut, hack out there, and I will tell you, do not bring an anti-static tool into your foiling. That's a no-no. You don't need to do any dusty with hot foiling. But I have seen, here we go. I've seen companies say, oh, do this with, do not add anything to your hot foiling, okay? And if you're in any hot foiling groups or people start asking questions about hot foiling, send them to my channel and I will set the record straight. Okay, so now because I added a shim to this one, we should have better results than the first time. And if you're not part of our Facebook group, it's called the Foiling Snobs Club. We invite everybody. We don't just do foiling, we do card making. Look at how much better that is. Now, I still have an under foiling here in the center, which tells me for this particular die, I need 2 shims. See that? So, no shim, 1 shim. So what I would do, you guys saw in my little book where I have little notes. So I would actually put a note on this, that I keep it in the original for that reason. I would actually put a note here. Where'd my pen go? Two shims, so that I know when I'm using this particular die, I need 2 shims. Okay, I want to just lastly show you guys the hinge method. I think the hinge method is very useful. I'm a lazy crafter. I don't like to use it. I like to just foil and go, but I don't want to be frustrated that I'm trying to foil something and it's not working properly either. So for the hinge method, the idea behind the hinge method is you have a sentiment or something that you need direct placement. I'm going to use this as our little sample, okay? We need direct placement right here. How do we make that happen? So we're going to find our die or sentiment, whatever we want to put in there that we're going to hot foil. And let's grab one here. I don't like the hinge method because 1, it's time consuming, and 2, if you mess up on the hinge method, that's it, you're done. Like you still have to start over again. So honestly, I would rather just foil it separately and cut it out. That would be easier to do. Okay, so here is a little die that says beautiful hot foil stamp, right? And I want to put it right there in the middle. So what the hinge method says is you grab yourself a little piece of tape. I recommend a high quality washi tape. I don't know where these washi tapes came from. I got them as a gift and I don't know. I think it's some secret source, so I can't help you. Purple tape works okay. I do not recommend thin washi cheap tape. I do not recommend the mint tape or any of those Post-it tapes. They're too thin. They melt. They leave a really bad sticky residue behind. And it's not fun. Okay, so the hinge method is basically this. You tape your die where you want it. Then you, see, mine's crooked. Then you flip it up and you put your piece of foil there. So I'm going to reuse, see how I have this open piece of foil that hasn't been used? Yes, I know I can refoil this, but for sake of saving foil, I'm going to use this foil right here. Once the foil hasn't been used, you can reuse it, you guys. It's just the spots where the foil's been removed that you cannot reuse it. Now I'm going to put my foil glue side down, ugly side down, and I'm going to flip my hinge or my die on top of that. That's called the hinge method. Okay, so we're using the tape as a hinge. We're making sure that this foil is tucked up under there as far as we can get it. You really need to make sure that this is really hard to do when you have a sore finger and nails that are way too long. Okay, so this is the hinge method. Now from here, ideally, I have my foil tucked all the way up. It's hinged on there. You guys understand the concept of this, right? So now I'm going to take this whole thing and I'm going to put it in my machine, but I need to be careful and flip it die side down like that. And I need my shim. Now I'm going to hit my timer and let that go. Okay, I got a message. Let's see what the message says. Okay, so a lot of these items, okay, I'll link for you guys. I see what you're saying. Art bin is not in the Amazon link. Okay, I'll get it. Okay, I'll get it. I'll get it. So I will get everything in my Amazon shop for you guys. Like I said, I have Amazon. I have Spellbinders. I'll try to link everything for you guys. So once this is done blinking, I'm going to bring in my other die cutting machine so you guys can see that. We'll bring in the old Big Kick. And again, we're not adding any extra platforms or die cutting plates, none of that. We are just taking the platform away from the heat, carefully removing it, and then taking the whole thing and running it through our machine here very slowly. See how that one just jumped? That's the problem I had with this machine. This machine is super old, you guys. I think it's like 20 years old. I can tell there's not enough pressure. I'm going to add a third shim because this machine is really old. Okay, so I just added another piece of paper in there. There it goes jumping again. I refuse to get rid of this machine because it's a machine my dad bought me many, many years ago, so it's nostalgic, but I know some of you guys have it. Some of you guys have the Big Shot. Any of those die cutting machines will work. Vagabond. All right, let's see here. So I double shim that. All right, so what the Hinge method allows you to do is to take a peek, and if it doesn't look like it worked, you can close everything back up and foil it again. But look at how straight my sentiment is now. So that's where the Hinge method comes in handy, is if you have a specific sentiment that you want to place. I, like I said, prefer, if I can, foil something and then cut it out. And that way I can glue it into place if it's not straight or it doesn't foil correctly. I hope that makes sense to you guys. And that's why you need a good quality washi tape, because if you use a cheap washi tape, eventually this melts and it tears and it sticks to your dies and it's not fun. Okay. All right, that's all I have. I wanted to keep this pretty brief. We're at 48 minutes. So do you guys have any additional questions about foil, paper, glimmer machine, anything I can help you out with? Because I would like to see you guys get your machines out, dust them off. Like I said, there are a lot of companies that do hot foil dies now. I know the question is going to be, can I use regular dies? I did do a video on that. The answer is yes, but I'm going to make an advanced foiling video. That'll be for that. So right now, I just want you guys to go through and understand the basics. You can foil on any color paper. Like I said, anything. Can you use Cricut tape for the hinge? I don't recommend the Cricut tape because the Cricut tape is too strong. When you're doing this, it's too strong. You just have to practice with your different qualities of washi tapes. No, the glimmer system versus the foil press system, there really is no advantage of one over the other than your die cutting system. If you have a Gemini machine, you're going to go with the foil press. If you have a Big Shot, Vagabond, Big Kick, Platinum Spellbinders machine, you want to go with the Spellbinders Glimmer machine. There really is no specific advantage of one machine over the other than your die cutting system. If you have both die cutting machines, the advantage to the foil press is the foil press can use all of the different foils. So that's an advantage to the foil press. The foil press works best on low foil with the papercraft foil. The disadvantage to the foil press is its plates warp. The platform itself, the heating platform, can't really take the high heat, even though you want to use all these other pretty foils. The platform warps. The Gemini or the Spellbinders machine, this platform does not warp. So there are advantages and disadvantages to both machines, but I'm going to tell you, save yourself some money. I don't want to see you spend $500 to get a Gemini machine and a foiling system. You don't need to do that. And if you have a Hobby Lobby in your area, Hobby Lobby is has this machine for around 75, 80 bucks. If you don't and you want to order it online, I will link for you guys my Spellbinders link. You can get some beautiful Spellbinders foil. I'll link the Foiling Snobs Club for you guys, and I'll also link Blue Bonnet foil for you guys. And stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe and follow my channel, because I do a lot on foiling, and I will do another one-on-one class for those of you guys that got the Gemini foil press machine. Okay, and I will link, you know, there's different washi companies, a lot of different tapes. So, I mean, I've tried this tape. I've tried this green tape, which is the same as Post-it tape, which is the same as mint tape. But I don't know what company this is. I will try to find it for you guys. What this is washi tape from Japan. They call it masking tape. I'll find it for you guys. But this works the best for me. And this was sent to me as a gift, so I'll have to find it for you guys. Purple tape, painter's tape. It's just too gooey, and it leaves this sticky residue when it's done. Okay, guys, if you enjoyed this video and you're going to do some foiling, give this a thumbs up before you leave. I want to see what you make. Jump on over to Foiling Snobs Club and post pictures of your foiling creations, even if it's terrible. I don't care. I want to see your progress as you move from this to this. You know, that's progress. And if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. The only heat-resistant tape that I use on my plates, Susie, are the Cricut heat-safe tape. So the only time I use this heat-safe tape is when I am taping my plates together. This is too strong to use for the Hinge method. Okay. Hopefully that helped you guys out. Get your machines out and get to foiling. Bye, guys.